Cars you should never drive. What makes them so risky? Your dream car sits gleaming in the driveway, perfect paint, sleek lines, that new car smell. But beneath that beautiful exterior lurks a deadly secret. One that could turn your family's everyday drive into a nightmare. Right now, thousands of people are driving cars with defects so dangerous that safety inspectors lose sleep over them. These aren't old clunkers. They're popular models you see every day, maybe even parked in your own garage. I've uncovered shocking safety reports that the car industry wants to keep quiet. And what I found about the first car on our list, it's so dangerous that even veteran mechanics couldn't believe the evidence. Stay with me, because what comes next could save your life. Ford Pinto, 1971 to 1980, the car that could explode. Let's start with a car that became the poster child for corporate greed, the Ford Pinto. In 1970, Ford rushed this compact car to market, desperate to compete with foreign manufacturers. But their rush led to one of the deadliest design flaws in automotive history. The problem: the Pinto's fuel tank was positioned behind the rear axle, with only 9 inches of crush space. Even a low-speed rear collision at 20 mph could rupture the tank, spraying fuel into the passenger compartment. One spark, and the entire car could burst into flames, trapping everyone inside. But here's where this story turns from tragic to outrageous. Ford knew about this problem before the first Pinto hit the streets. Internal documents revealed their horrifying math. Fixing each car would cost $11 million per vehicle, totaling $137 million. But paying settlements to burn victims' families, only $49 million. Ford chose their profits over people's lives. The result? Over 500 people burned to death in Pinto-related fires. Let that sink in. 500 lives lost because a company decided saving $25 million was worth more than human lives. Real victims included teenagers on their way to school, families heading to vacation, and daily commuters just like you and me. This nightmare finally ended in 1978 when the Pinto became the largest recall in automotive history at that time. 1.5 million cars called back for safety modifications. But the Pinto's legacy changed everything. New safety laws were created, and for the first time, car companies faced criminal charges for knowingly selling dangerous vehicles. The Pontiac Fiero, 1984 to 1988, the car that caught fire. Remember those cool mid-engine sports cars from the 80s? The Pontiac Fiero was supposed to be GM's answer to affordable performance cars. It looked amazing. Wedge-shaped design, pop-up headlights, and that mid-engine layout that made everyone's heads turn. But beneath its exciting exterior lurked a terrifying flaw that would literally set the automotive world on fire. The problem started with GM cutting corners. They used parts from their economy cars to build this sports car, including an engine that wasn't designed for the Fiero's unique layout. The 2.5-liter Iron Duke engine had serious issues with oil distribution. When oil leaked onto the exhaust manifold running at 1,000+ degrees Fahrenheit, you can guess what happened next. The numbers are staggering. By 1987, over 260 Fieros burst into flames, most while people were driving them. Imagine cruising down the highway and suddenly smoke starts pouring from behind your head. That's exactly what happened to Mike Roberts in Phoenix, who barely escaped his burning Fiero on the interstate. His story is just one of hundreds. GM initially denied there was a problem, telling owners these were isolated incidents. But the evidence kept piling up. Service stations reported oil-soaked engine bays. Mechanics found cracked connecting rods. Insurance companies started raising red flags about the unusual number of fire claims. Finally, in 1987, GM couldn't ignore it anymore. They recalled 244,000 Fieros, nearly every single one they'd made. The official recall notice mentioned engine fires, but internal documents revealed GM knew about the design flaws years earlier. They'd chosen to keep selling the cars anyway. Today, surviving Fieros are collector's items, but not for the right reasons. They stand as a reminder of how a promising sports car turned into a rolling fire hazard, and how corporate denial put countless lives at risk. Most shocking? Some of these cars are still on the road, their current owners unaware of their car's fiery history. Modern death trap. Takata airbag. Cars. Now, let's talk about something that might be sitting right in front of your face. Literally. The Takata airbag crisis isn't just another recall. It's the largest automotive safety recall in history, and it's still happening right now. What makes these airbags so deadly? Inside each Takata airbag is a metal cartridge packed with propellant. When this propellant breaks down, which happens faster in hot, humid weather, the metal cartridge can explode like a bomb. Instead of protecting you, the airbag shoots sharp metal fragments straight at your face and chest at hundreds of miles per hour. The numbers are mind-blowing. 67 million airbags recalled across 19 different car brands. We're talking about popular cars from Honda, Toyota, Ford, BMW, and many others. But here's the terrifying part. As of FT4, millions of these dangerous airbags are still on the road. Let me share a real story that shows just how deadly these airbags are. In 2021, a driver in South Carolina got into a minor fender bender, the kind you'd normally walk away from with just a dented bumper. Instead, their Takata airbag exploded, sending metal shrapnel through their neck. They died right there in their driveway. This wasn't a high-speed crash on the highway. This was a simple parking accident. The death toll keeps rising. In the US alone, 24 people have died and more than 400 have been injured. Honda recently confirmed another death in March 23, proving this crisis isn't over. The youngest victim was just 17 years old. The most shocking part? Despite the recall being free to fix, millions of drivers still don't know if their car has these deadly airbags. Right now, in 2024, the government estimates that 10 million dangerous Takata airbags are still out there on American roads. That's 10 million ticking time bombs waiting to go off in the next fender bender. The rollover kings. Think driving a big SUV makes you safer? Think again. Let's zero in on one of the most dangerous problems with tall vehicles: rollovers. And no vehicle tells this story better than the 2010-20 Jeep Grand Cherokee. Here's a scary fact. Tall SUVs like the Grand Cherokee are 3 times more likely to roll over than regular cars. Why? It's all about physics. These vehicles carry their weight way up high, like a tower of blocks. When you swerve suddenly, maybe to avoid a deer or a kid running into the street, that high center of gravity turns deadly. The numbers don't lie. NHTSA data shows the Grand Cherokee from these years earned only 3 out of 5 stars in rollover testing. That might not sound terrible until you learn what it means: a 22% chance of rolling over in a single vehicle crash. Picture this. If you need to make a sudden turn at highway speed, you've got a 1 in 5 chance of your car flipping over. Let me share what happened to Sarah Martinez in Texas. She was driving her 2012 Grand Cherokee at normal highway speed when a truck cut her off. One quick swerve later, her SUV rolled 3 times. The roof caved in so badly that rescue crews needed special equipment to get her out. She survived, barely, but spent 6 months learning to walk again. But it's not just Jeep. The NHTSA found that certain models of the Ford Explorer, Chevrolet Tahoe, and Nissan Armada all share similar rollover risks. These popular family haulers are sitting in driveways across America, ready to flip at the wrong moment. The most frustrating part? Car companies know about this problem. They could lower the center of gravity, widen the wheelbase, or add better stability control. but those changes cost money. Instead, they bury vague warnings deep in the owner's manual and call it a day. Hidden dangers and red flags. Now that I've shown you some of history's most dangerous cars, let's talk about something even more important: how to spot these hidden dangers before they hurt you or your family. First up, unusual sounds. You know that weird grinding noise your car is making? Don't just turn up the radio. A BMW investigation found that 68% of serious accidents started with strange noises that drivers ignored weeks before. Those clicks, pops, and grinding sounds, they're your car screaming for help. But here's something most people don't know. Every car in America has a unique code, called a VIN number. Think of it as your car's fingerprint. You can plug this number into the NHTSA website right now, for free, and see every single recall and safety issue reported. Last year alone, that database helped identify over 900,000 dangerous vehicles before accidents happened. Warning lights aren't just pretty decorations on your dashboard. A 2023 study showed that 40% of drivers keep driving with warning lights on, thinking it's probably nothing. That exact thinking led to a massive pileup in California when a driver ignored their brake warning light for 3 weeks. Let me give you 3 quick ways to check if your car is dangerous. First, go to NHTS.gov recalls and enter your VIN number. It's free and takes 30 seconds. Second, download your car manufacturer's app. Many now send instant recall notifications straight to your phone. Third, take a photo of any warning light that pops up and send it to your mechanic immediately. Most will tell you for free if it's urgent. Remember those Takata airbags we talked about? There's a special website just for checking if your car has them. One quick search could literally save your life. Chevrolet Cobalt, 2005-2010. The silent killer. What's the worst thing that could happen while driving? A sudden crash, bad weather. For Cobalt drivers, death came from simply hitting a bump in the road. The Chevrolet Cobalt had a deadly secret hiding in plain sight. A faulty ignition switch that could flip from run to off with the slightest jolt. When this happened, everything shut down. No power steering, no airbags, no control. One small bump, and you're basically sitting in a 3,000-pound metal coffin rolling down the highway. Meet Amy Rademacher, just 15 years old. She was riding in her friend's Cobalt when the ignition switched off. The car lost power, veered off the road, and crashed. The airbags never deployed. Amy died that night, along with her friend. Their families would spend years fighting GM for answers. But here's the part that'll make your blood boil. GM knew about this problem since 2000. Their own engineers duplicated the issue. Their own test drivers reported cars shutting off. The fix? A part that cost less than $1. But GM decided it wasn't worth the expense. They kept selling these cars for 10 more years. By the time GM finally admitted the truth in 2014, 124 people were dead. 275 more were injured. The company faced criminal charges and paid $900 million in settlements. But no amount of money could bring back teenage victims like Brooke Melton, who died on her 29th birthday when her Cobalt shut off and skidded into a creek. Even more shocking? Some of these death traps are still on the road today. Used car lots still sell them. People still drive them, unaware that their car could shut off at any moment. And GM? They claimed they'd learned their lesson right before facing new recalls for different models in 2023. Toyota's sudden acceleration crisis, 2009 to 2010. Imagine pressing your brake pedal, but instead of slowing down, your car speeds up. Your speedometer climbs 60, 70, 80 miles per hour. Your brakes won't respond. This nightmare became reality for thousands of Toyota and Lexus owners during one of the scariest auto safety crises in history. The danger lurked in America's most trusted cars: Camrys, Corollas, Priuses, and Lexus models. These weren't sports cars or experimental vehicles. These were family cars, daily commuters, the ones people bought specifically because they were supposed to be safe. Let me tell you about the Saylor family from San Diego. Mark Saylor, a California Highway Patrol officer, was driving a Lexus with his wife, daughter, and brother-in-law. Suddenly, their car accelerated out of control. Their final moments were captured in a horrifying 911 call, with Mark's brother-in-law describing their stuck accelerator as they raced down the highway at over 120 mph. None of them survived the crash. The cause? Toyota blamed it on floor mats trapping gas pedals. Then they blamed drivers. Then finally, the truth emerged. Defective gas pedals could stick, and faulty electronics could cause sudden acceleration. But Toyota kept selling cars, even as reports of runaway vehicles piled up. The numbers are staggering. 89 deaths, over 50 reported crashes, more than 9 million vehicles recalled. Toyota faced a $1.2 billion criminal penalty, the largest ever levied against a car company at that time. But the real cost? Families torn apart, lives lost, and a shocking betrayal of consumer trust. The most chilling part? Some safety experts believe not all affected cars were fixed. Toyota claimed they solved the problem with a simple floor mat recall and pedal adjustment. But to this day, some owners of these models report their cars suddenly speeding up on their own. The question isn't if this could happen again, it's when. Hyundai/Kia engine fires. 2011 to 2016 fire. It's the last thing you expect while driving down the highway. But for owners of certain Hyundai and Kia models, it's a terrifying reality. Right now, in 2024, these cars are still catching fire. With no warning, no crash, just sudden flames shooting from under the hood. The problem? The Theta engine. Sounds technical, but here's the simple truth. Metal shavings left inside during manufacturing can clog oil passages. No oil flow means engine parts scrape against each other, heat up, and boom. Your car becomes a fireball. Let's put some real numbers on this nightmare. Over 300 Hyundai and Kia vehicles have burst into flames without any crash. We're talking about popular models like the Sonata, Santa Fe, Optima, and Sorento. Just last month, Janet Miller in Ohio watched her 2015 Sonata burn in her driveway while getting ready for work. The companies tried to hide it. They called these isolated incidents. But then videos started flooding social media. Cars burning on highways, in parking lots, even in people's garages. The pressure forced them into a massive $60 million settlement. They had to admit their engines were time bombs on wheels. Want to know something scary? These cars are still out there. Millions of them. The recall notices went out, but many cars never got fixed. Why? Because Hyundai and Kia claimed they'd contact every owner. Instead, people are finding out about the danger when they smell smoke. And by then, it's often too late. Here's the kicker. Used car lots are still selling these models. Right now, someone might be buying one of these fire-prone cars, thinking they got a great deal on a family vehicle. They won't know the danger until their engine temperature spikes and smoke starts pouring from under the hood. Tesla Model S battery fires, 2012 to 2016. Electric cars might be the future, but some early Tesla Model S vehicles came with a shocking safety problem. Not the kind of shock you get from static electricity. We're talking about massive battery fires that can reignite days after being put out. The issue? The Model S battery pack runs along the entire bottom of the car. One hard hit from road debris, one scrape against a curb, and these batteries can catch fire. But this isn't your ordinary car fire. When lithium batteries burn, they create their own oxygen. That means they can burn underwater. Yes, you heard that right. You can't even put these fires out with water. Take what happened in Sacramento last year. A Model S hit some road debris on the highway. The driver made it home safely, parked in their garage, and went to bed. At 3 a.m., their garage erupted in flames. Firefighters spent 6 hours trying to put it out. Just when they thought it was over, the car reignited. 3 times. The numbers are alarming. Over 3,000 complaints about spontaneous battery fires. But here's the real problem. Most fire departments aren't equipped to handle these blazes. Regular fire trucks carry 500 gallons of water. A Tesla battery fire? It can take up to 30,000 gallons. That's enough to fill a swimming pool. NHTSA investigations found something even more disturbing. These fires can start hours or even days after a minor impact. In Texas, a Model S caught fire 16 hours after a small parking lot scrape. The fire spread so fast it destroyed 3 other cars and part of an apartment building. And 2023 brought more cases. Just ask Denver firefighters who had to submerge an entire Tesla in a special container filled with water for 5 days straight to finally stop it from reigniting. They called it the zombie car because it kept coming back to life. Ram Truck Death Wobble, 2018-22. Your Ram truck's steering wheel suddenly becomes a jackhammer in your hands at 70 miles per hour. The entire vehicle violently shakes. Other drivers swerve away from your wobbling truck. This isn't a horror story. It's the infamous death wobble that's terrorizing Ram owners across America right now. The problem strikes without warning. One small bump at highway speed transforms these heavy-duty trucks into mechanical bulls. Mike Peterson, a construction worker in Texas, fought this terrifying wobble with his family in the truck. The only way to stop it, he says, was to slam on the brakes in the middle of traffic. I thought we were going to die. Over 3,000 Ram owners have filed complaints with NHTSA. The issue? A badly designed steering damper that can fail at any moment. Ram's solution? They told drivers it's normal and just slow down. Try telling that to someone driving a 6,000-pound truck that's shaking like a blender. Recent videos from 23 show just how bad it gets. One Florida driver's dashcam caught his steering wheel shaking 45 times per second. The truck nearly crashed into 3 different vehicles before he could pull over. And guess what Ram said? We're looking into it. Now there's multiple class action lawsuits, with owners demanding answers. But here's the worst part. Ram keeps selling these trucks. Right now, in 24, people are driving off dealer lots in trucks that could start violently shaking at any moment. The fix would cost Ram about $600 per truck. Instead, they're spending millions fighting lawsuits. Want to know if your truck is at risk? The death wobble mostly hits Ram 2500 and 300 models from 2018 to 22. If you feel even a slight shimmy in your steering wheel, get it checked immediately. Don't wait for it to turn into a full death wobble. By then, it might be too late. Your car shouldn't be a gamble with your life. We've seen how the Ford Pinto exploded, Pontiac Fieros burst into flames, Takata airbags turned deadly, and SUVs rolled over from simple swerves. But knowledge is power, and now you have it. Take 30 seconds right now to check your car on NHTSA.gov/recalls. Those few moments could save your life. And hey, if this video helped you understand these dangers, hit that subscribe button. I drop new car safety videos every week that could keep you and your family safe. One last thing, share this video with someone who drives, whether it's family, friends, or that neighbor who just bought a new SUV. You might just save their life. Hit that like button if you learned something new, and I'll see you in the next video. Stay safe out there.